Never done this before. There we are. Hi, everybody. It's
Hi.
Jen and Anna. Jen from Homestead How Healing Humanity. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I'm Anna from the Poco Moonshine family. I'm just so excited to have a stream with you, Jen. First time ever, and it's actually my first solo live stream, so I'm just so excited.
There you go. We can do this. We got this. We're going to be like special. We're going to be doing it ourselves from now on, picking the guys out.
Right? Yep.
It's our turn now.
Exactly. They've been doing it for a long time, so let's
Yeah.
go.
Right. There you go. Oh. So yeah, how's everybody doing? We were just chatting a little bit before this, kind of asking questions to each other. What are we going to ask and stuff? So if you guys have questions, leave them in the sidebar. QQQ. We'll both try to do our best to answer them. But thanks everybody for joining. Hello, Karen. So yeah, you want to start, or should I start, or how?
Sure. Yeah, let's start it out. So we just have questions. So and you guys can chime in. So we're gonna talk about amp flow. So if anybody doesn't want to listen to that, cover your ears, whatever. But what was amp flow like prior to carnivore, and how is it now for you?
Yeah, that's a really good one. I talk about that a lot, unfortunately, for the guys out there. Yeah, for me, so I personally had a ton of migraines, like literally every other day. I was having a full blown migraine, and I went to doctors, and they're like, "Oh, take this pill, take this pill, take this pill." It's not anything about, maybe change your diet or look at what you're eating. It was just here, take this, take this, take this. Oh, there's nothing we can do. So before carnivore, it was awful. Like you can even ask Carrie. Like my mood was awful. You think I'm crabby now? I was probably 6 times crabbier when Ant Flow came. So it was terrible. I've been doing carnivore for, I think it's 62 days now, so not too long, but I have had 3 Ant Flows come to visit, and the last 3 times have been so much easier, so much lighter. I'm more energetic during it. I'm not as crabby. I just feel so much better. It's a lot lighter. And then my migraines too. I don't really, I've had maybe 3 migraines since I started carnivore. So that's a huge difference for me personally. So it's been so much better. How about you?
Yeah, I think, for me, I was on birth control for a long time. I'm no longer on it because I had heard your guys' story about your daughter. And
yes.
JT just talked to me about it one day, and he's like, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to keep going on it. And little sidetrack, but like my mom even said, like, it's not a good idea to stay on it a long time. So I'm off of that. But even with that, before carnivore, I had really bad cramps, to the point, like, some of the time, like, I couldn't even stand when I was having those moments. It was also so heavy. And now, it's it's lighter, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a lot more pleasant. I want to say I really don't have cramps anymore. I'm not saying it's perfect every single time.
Right. Yep.
It's like I almost don't notice it as much as I used to.
Nice.
So I think it's a lot more pleasant. I've heard you say that a couple times too.
That's a way to put it. Thank you. Yeah.
I think it's just a lot better. So the reason I wanted to ask this question is because I know there's a lot of ladies out there who struggle with it. It's not a fun thing to deal with. And then on top of it, when you're just feeling so much pain, it's hard to be in that position. And it's hard for the people who love you to see you that way. And like you said, kind of like you said, I'm less moody too. Like it's a lot. I'm much nicer of a person to everybody at that time.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think that's the main thing. Do you want to go next? We can ask another.
Sure. Yeah. I was telling Anna, I kind of chat GP'd questions and it gave me like 90 of them. So I'm not going to ask all 90.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick out specific ones. One that's kind of close to my heart is, if you guys know me, I have 4 kids. Anna has 1, and our girls transferred or went to carnivore. And so my question to you, Anna, is your son is a lot younger. How did you transfer? I don't want to say transform. How did you get him to carnivore? How has it been? Have you seen any change in him, like mood wise or excitement or more energy wise, kind of?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we kind of, I want to say we transitioned him quickly, but also slowly. So there was a period of time where we would let him have like yogurt, but it has all that sugar in it and
Right.
things. And we would
Yeah.
let him have like chocolate milk and all of that stuff. And I think we gradually faded some of those things out that were kind of he was more attached to. And it wasn't right away like into our journeys. Like I think we talked with Dr. Chafee as a group and just it was all about kids. So
Yeah.
if you're interested about getting your kid on carnivore, I would go find that video on our channel and just look at it. A few other
Perfect.
carnivores were in there, but that's really what drove it home. I was worried. I don't know why. I was worried on some level. Like I think I still had the mainstream ideas in my head that somehow carnivore would lead me down a bad path on health, and I don't know why at that point.
I
And
think it's stereotype.
yeah,
That's how
yeah.
I was. Yeah.
And I'm the type of person, like, I'm okay doing something to myself and risking it kind of for myself, like weighing those benefits and risks. But I was nervous about it or hesitant to do it with William. And then after that, I felt much more comfortable. And so we put him on. And then over time, we gradually removed those more sugary things like that he was still having, like milk. He still has some milk, but we don't give him nearly as much as we used to. And the biggest changes I see is his mood. You know, he's much more willing to do things if I ask him to.
Mm,
Um, he still has some frustration at times, and you know, every kid does.
right.
Um, but he's a lot better. I notice him sleeping better, like which is so nice. When you have a
Mm,
little child, like I kind of wish we had been carnivore prior to that because you know, I'm just wondering if that first year would have been a little bit different.
oh
Uh,
yeah.
because you don't really get much sleep in that first year, but I think he's just a lot more positive, sleeping better, and I notice him picking up on things a lot quicker. Um, like he's just able to learn things so much more quickly. Like I could tell him the name of something and he's got it down like within one or two times and he remembers it. I'm like, oh my goodness, like you got that so quickly. And at one point before carnivore, I think around a year, we were worried he was going to be speech delayed. So, you know, like it's just interesting seeing then versus now. But yeah, he's doing
Right.
really good.
Good. No, yeah, that's awesome. I know a lot of people are like you said before, they're like worried about transitioning
Yeah.
or oh, meat's gonna kill you. It's gonna give you high cholesterol. And it's just unfortunately what the doctors have been telling you. You know, it's like it's
Right.
scary because that's what pretty much took me longer, I guess, to jump on the carnivore diet. Or as somebody just put in the comments, it's the proper human diet. Yes, that should be the way we should be saying it rather than carnivore, because I think that scares people away. Like I have friends that I've kind of pushed, not really pushed, but kind of nudged, I guess, to try the proper human diet. And she's been thriving. I think she's on day 6 now, maybe.
Oh, okay.
And she's doing absolutely amazing. She loves it. She joined the group Meat Sisters on Facebook, and she's always asking questions on there, which is really great. But I just, all you can do is just kind of help people, nudge them a little bit. But like with the
Mhm.
girls too, it was harder for Emma because she was a vegan for 5 years. And I was worried about her because all she would eat was like cauliflower. There was no nutrients, no nothing in it. And she just watched Carrie thriving and she's just like, you know what? I want to try it. And we did a video on it where she had her first egg in 5 years. And she started crying on camera because she's like, it tasted so good. And she's like, I don't know if it's because I didn't eat anything or if because I really needed it. And I'm like, I think both. So that was a big transition. And then, like you were saying with Aunt Flo of being on birth control, for people that don't know, we almost lost Lily, our oldest daughter, a couple of years ago, actually during the pandemic. She was calling for me in the bathroom, and before I could catch her, she fell on the floor and she was completely white. Her lips were blue and she was having a blood clot that was going from her legs into her lungs. And I took her to the doctor several times saying, her legs hurt, her legs hurt. And like, oh, it's just growing pain. So that's another reason I don't really trust doctors. I mean, they could have said, well, is she on any medication or anything? So I feel like an awful mom putting my kid on medication, but I thought it was helping her because Aunt Flo was so bad, and
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm kind of going off topic, but yeah,
Okay.
it scared me with that. So that's why I'm more passionate about the women's perspective of Aunt Flo, because now she's not on birth control
Yeah.
anymore. And, she's been doing a lot better. And all my girls too. I mean, I could tell the moods with them have been so much better. The 5 girls, me and my 4 girls, all around the same time, poor Carrie. um so yeah, so it's kind of my 2 cents in that too, but I'm glad to hear that you're off of that, because that
Yeah.
is definitely scary, and it's like it's 1% chance. Well, my
Right.
daughter was the 1%, so
Yeah, and you never know, like, if some other, like, the way you're eating or some other condition or some other medication can maybe up that percentage. You don't, like, they don't really explain a lot of that stuff to you, I feel like, when you're in there, like, I feel like doctors are so quick to prescribe medications, and then
yes,
you have all these side effects, and then you have to treat the side effects. It's like,
exactly.
and then
Yeah.
too, like the doctors, at least one of my doctors, I was a little bit peeved because she didn't I feel like they're not fully upfront about what all the risks are when
Mhm.
you're looking at a medication. They're just like, "Oh, here, take
Right.
these." Like, well,
Mhm.
how's this going to affect my body? And when I was younger, I never really thought through that. But now that I'm like, the birth control kind of really, like, me coming off and JT bringing out, kind of got me thinking about all my other medications. And
Mm.
now I'm down to one because I was just like, I told the
Yes.
doctor, I don't want to be on medications. I looked at the side effects and I don't like them. And
Right.
I feel like they have to inform you. Like, doctors have to inform you, but oftentimes I don't get informed of those things when they're just like, take this.
Yeah, or they're on the back of the sheet, and it's like they want you to read it and understand what those big words are, like blood clot. It's like it doesn't say blood clot, it says something else, and it's like, oh, what does that mean?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's terrible. It's terrible. It's sad that, you can't really trust doctors. I mean, there's not I wish every doctor was a Dr. Hampton, Dr. Barry, all those good doctors, but unfortunately, we all can't have that. So you got to kind of like advocate for yourself, you got to watch out for yourself, what's best for you. So that's why I love this community so much, because if you have a question, you can ask anything, and one of us, any of us would answer a question, kind of help you out. So that's why it's so amazing.
Yeah. Do have a question kind of related to your girls. You're just talking about them. So I know you mentioned some changes. What changes have you all seen in each of them? Like before carnivore, like how are they versus after carnivore?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So yeah, there's 4 of them, and Katie is more like ketovore, but I'm still happy because she's losing weight, she's healthy. I tell them whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you healthy. So she's doing ketovore, and she's kind of transitioning towards carnivore, but slow and steady, I say. That's how I did it. But I see just the happiness is better. I mean, like their enthusiasm. Like we have several businesses. We have the dog kennel, and we have the theater, and we have the upstairs rental. And before it was like pulling teeth with them. Okay, let's go clean. Okay, we got to go to work tonight. Okay, you got to take care of the dog. Now it's like, oh, well, I'll go do this. I'll go do that. I'll go do this. So it's definitely changed. And like their attitude of, oh, I'll help you, or if I come home from like the theater from a really long night or something, the house will be clean, and it's so much different. So definitely their spirits have gone up, their energy has gone up, their positivity. So it's been amazing. Yeah, I definitely love it.
It's great. I feel like our house too runs so much more smoother. Like, we're so much more positive. We have more energy. Like, we're not like before. I can think back and just remember always wanting to sit on the couch and just watch TV. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I didn't do all that all the time, but I do
Yeah,
so much more now than I
right.
used to.
I know. Like with Carrie says, like, I'm not pregnant. And oh my gosh, I couldn't even, I'm too old for that. I keep telling Carrie's like, let's have another baby. I'm like, we had triplets. So it's like we're guaranteed to have twins or triplets again. I'm like,
Gosh,
I'm too old for this. No, let's adopt though.
right.
But so I don't know. I was just like, no. So yeah, the energy has just been through the roof. I'm sorry. I kind of somebody was our renters were leaving. My cat was doing
It's
something.
okay.
I lost track of what I was talking about. um. So yeah, it's been so much better. Like everybody's attitude towards each other. It's like
Yeah.
before carnivore, I would look at Carrie like, what are you eating? What
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Same.
But if anybody that follows him, he was on, I don't even have the box here, like a box of medication. And he just went to the hospital the other day and had his heart checked and all that. And well, what medication are you on? I'm not on anything. So I mean, it's a total difference on what doctors could tell you, try to change your diet, try to eliminate this or something rather than, oh, here's a pill, here's a pill, here's a pill. So I'm sorry, I saw in the comments, I'm trying to read the comments as we're talking, but I saw somewhere they asked about, I don't know where it went. I'm sorry. Carrie normally does this for me. So Karen's Creative Corner asked, what's the situation with Jen's daughter and birth control? So I'm just going to go over that really quick. Some of you might know, Anna was talking about it. So yeah, my daughter, I think it was 4 years ago now, we almost lost her to birth control. She was on birth control for the purpose of her bad menstrual periods. And I'm talking bad. Like, I thought I had it bad. Hers was really bad. So I'm not going to go into detail with that. I'm just going to say it was really bad. I was always against the birth control because of what it does to your body. Well, there's a 1% chance they always tell you that you can have blood clots. Well, she ended up with the blood clot and we almost lost her. Like I said, it was three or 4 years ago. I try to forget because all the stuff that she's been through. She had open heart surgery at age 13. She had other surgeries. She had cysts and everything else. So since Carnivore, we were able to take her off of that. So as Anna was saying, it's awful on your body. Like, there's other resources that you can do. Like, if it's for your bad menstrual, I know there's other reasons you go on birth control, but I mean, for the reasons that I put her on it was her menstrual. So you always got to look into that and see the pros and the cons of it. So that's basically it. Is we did a video on it too, which I can't even watch. But yeah, she's okay now, but it was just very scary. So I just wanted to answer that question really quick. So
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to ask one on the topic of doctors and just food in general in our society. How has your mind shift changed about food and how our society promotes food?
oh, brother, that's a really good one. Yeah. So I think it's sad. Like, I will admit, it took me over a year to start Carnivore. I've seen Carrie. I saw him thriving. I saw him getting off his medicine. I saw him, getting skinnier, getting healthier. His mindset. I mean, he was a workaholic before. Now he's 100 times worse, which sometimes is a good thing, but sometimes it's not. But just seeing him thrive on it. So, I mean, it's sad that you go to doctors or you go to the store. Like, his Carrie's thing is saying is, you want a ketchup. You can't go and find one ketchup. There's like 300 bottles. I'm exaggerating. You guys know that. But there's so many bottles of ketchup. Like cereal, for example. Me too. Having 4 kids, I always thought breakfast is the most important to feed them. Okay, well, I've learned personally it's not. I can skip breakfast. I like fasting until 1 or 2 o'clock. So you always think, oh, breakfast is the most important. Okay, well, let's get them cereal. Well, what do they have on the cereal boxes? They have characters on there that kids are going to want. So they're like, oh, well, let's get this one because it has Count Dracula on it. Let's get that one because it has Tony the Tiger on it, And then one thing my stepmom would always say is, oh, you can eat that. It has, what is it? 100% grain in it. That's so good for you. And I always thought, yeah, that was really good for you because it's green. No, it's not. So it's really sad that the society out there thinks that they're doing good, like healthy wise, like me being a vegetarian my whole life. I thought vegetables were good for you. I mean, God, you had to have vegetables with every meal. So me, it was always vegetables, 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 and sweets and cakes and all that stuff. So that's another thing. But it was sad because you were always taught, the vegetables come first and then your breads and your carbs and then a little bit of meat. Is this like totally backwards? It's like if your doctor would tell you that, we wouldn't have all these obese people, all these people with diabetes and these young kids that are, unfortunately going the wrong way. So it's sad for me. Like, I own the movie theater, right? So I sell popcorn there. I have to because I can't tell everybody, well, I'm sorry, we don't sell popcorn because we don't believe in it. We would be out of business, but we have other options there like beef sticks or pork rinds or something. So I wish there was more of a variety. I wish there was like a couple of restaurants out there that just served some sort of carnivore things or things without sauces or because my father-in-law wanted to take me out to lunch when I went to his house. And I'm like, I can't. And he's like, well, I know you can't eat that, but they were having tacos. And I'm like, I can't have that. Well, why can't you have it? Well, it has the vegetables on it. And then he's like, well, it's just the meat. And I'm like, the meat has sauce in it. I can't have that. So it's like people look at you different, like you're a weirdo. And I did. I kind of looked at Carrie like that until I jumped on board. Like, well, that's kind of weird. Are you what? You can't have any of that. So I think it's sad, especially like the schools today now, where my girls had SAT that they had to take. Well,
Yeah.
after the SAT, they gave them the what is it, the little PB&J
Yeah.
Uncrustables. I'm like,
Mhm.
seriously? And then they gave them, chocolate milk, and I'm like, if anything, I'm sorry, I'd rather you have vegetables or fruit, as bad as I know that it is for you, but I'd rather you have that than this crappy crap with all the sugars and stuff in it. So
Right.
it's sad. So that's my point of view, is it's sad. So I don't know. I don't, because I was there, I've only been carnivore for, I don't know what I just said, 62 days or something. I don't keep track anymore. But it's like you go to the store and you see people walking around and buying stuff. And sometimes Carrie's like, well, let's go talk to them, or let's talk to them about carnivore. I'm like, you can't just, you got to let people decide their own thing. But in today's society, it's kind of sad, seeing all these people um, just eating what they think is good for you because that's what your doctors are telling you. So,
Right. Yeah, and I used to be part of that group where I was just like, well, the doctors say it's good for you. We're going to eat it. And,
yeah,
it's normal, but it's really not normal. Like, I've heard Carrie talk about it a lot. Like, we've departed so far from what is normal in society. And I
exactly.
see people too, like, it just makes me sad. And you see what they have in their cart. Like, it's just heartbreaking, honestly, because the repercussions of going farther into the sad diet. And
Mhm.
I was there. I had started to almost have high blood pressure and almost have diabetes. I was pre-diabetic. And so you just it's hard. It is honestly hard. And society promotes that, and it's all kind of all tied together. I'm starting to read that the unholy trinity, I think, is what it is, or something like that.
Mhm.
From Carrie, one of Carrie's newest live streams, he interviewed the author, and I just want to know more of how it happened and everything. I got through chapter 1 of it, and it's just really based off of all the stuff that they're promoting, or like they're saying about cholesterol and stuff, is based off a study that doesn't really, it's not credible.
Right.
And
Mhm.
yeah, it's an interesting book, and I'm still working on it, but I recommend that to people because I feel like it's going to be eye opening for me. Even though I'm on the carnivore diet, I'm going to learn so much more. Yeah.
Is that
Yep.
it?
Yep. I just got it this week, and I just started reading it.
I'm
So
like, Carrie's got books all over here. So yeah, it's like I was
yeah.
trying to find it.
Yes. Yeah. And he interviewed that guy, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I need this book. Like, I need to read it. I need to research it, just because, if there's some other way I can help share the information with somebody, I'd like to do that.
Right.
But you're right, like, it's hard. How do you just approach people about it? I know JT did that at a store once. It's a tricky subject. I'm sure some
Yeah.
people might get mad or upset, and like, I don't necessarily want to put people in that position. I also too, you brought this up. I also too had an experience where JT and I were looking for a missing boy, Elijah Vu, and we were in the group, and they were very nice. They got all this food, but of course, like, it's not carnivore food. And so, like, everybody's like, oh, eat. And I'm like, no, I'm okay. And then
Mhm.
we kind of talked about it. So sometimes
Mhm.
it comes up like that, and if you can look for an opening where you feel it's okay, I would talk about it. I mean, definitely, if you feel comfortable going up to somebody and talking about it. I just, being at the weight I was, I know how sensitive it can be to discuss, like, how where you're at health wise. Like,
Mhm.
it's a sensitive topic for a lot of people, but
It is,
you
yeah.
know, it's, I almost feel sometimes it's better to say something, especially if you're coming from a place of care and you have that opportunity. I think that's the most important thing, is to just try to take that. I've done that with my own family too. I'm starting to get together more with people and just talking about it, because some of my family is sick. And so they have their own diseases, their own things that they're kind of going through. And so I think it's really important. Um, yeah, it's kind of a loaded question. Brings all the emotions out for me.
Yeah, it does. I mean, like, looking at you, I mean, I've known you for a while, but I've only seen you a few times. And when I
Mhm.
first saw you, you were always beautiful to me. I mean, it was amazing. You have such a big heart. And then when I saw you at the meetup, I had to take like a double look. And like my girls are like, "There's Anna." I'm like,
Well,
swear.
thank you.
And I'm like, no, seriously. I was like, holy crap, really? I mean, you've always been beautiful, but just to see you the way that you are now, you're glowing. We're doing this live stream. I mean, I would have never done this before. There's no way.
Mm,
So
yeah.
definitely a change in like the attitude, the weight, the
Mhm.
energy level. And like you said, yeah, it's just pouring it out to other people. Like I talked to people about it at the theater, and like I said, I
Yeah.
had a couple of friends actually change over, and she's been doing it for a couple of days, and she got her husband on board, and it's like maybe that one or two people will pass it on to one or two other people. So you
Right.
never know. It's like you just got to get the word out there. So that's why the documentary is so important. That's why Carrie's doing it all is, and everybody else, like Adam from Carnivore today, JT from you, Poco Moonshine family. It's like everybody that's helping and donating and doing and it's all for a great cause. So I think it's amazing. Just got to
Yeah.
get more people out there that um talking about it. But like somebody said before, it shouldn't be called the carnivore diet. It should be, a lifestyle change, or the not the standard American diet anymore, which everybody knows. It should just
Yeah.
be an elimination diet. That's what I called it. Like Harry's like, I challenge you to a 30-day elimination diet. And I did. So now
Yeah.
I feel better. So it should be the proper human diet. It's
Yeah.
what people should be doing, because me, myself, I did Weight Watchers. I did,
Mhm.
fasting for 6 days. I did, low carb, just vegetables, and nothing works. So, I mean, I personally, my name's Jen. I'm a sugar addict. I'm 60 days in, and I'm still, fighting for it, but
Yeah.
that's why we're here, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, I see a difference in you too. Like, the fact that you're on here, I could tell you're more confident. And originally I was nervous about it, but now today I felt calmer. I felt actually really excited about it. And we're doing it. I think that carnivore, for me especially, like I've noticed, like my confidence has boosted. And I'm willing to talk about it. I'm excited about it and fired up. I think that's the magic of carnivore sometimes. Like you have the confidence, you have the willingness to go forward with what you want to do in life, or maybe discovering something that
Right.
maybe you never thought you would do. You can do it.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
it's like a new attitude, a new vibration, I guess,
Mhm.
as JT
Yeah.
would say.
Right. Yes, not only the feeling, like my shirt, for example, it's like
Yes.
I went from like a 2X to extra large, kind of a large. I'm not really losing a lot of weight per se, but I'm losing inches, and that's what I'm happy about. I'm not in it to lose the weight. I'm in it to feel better, not to have my migraines, to be a better person,
Right.
and I love it, and I feel great, and I do a lot more around the house and the theater, and yeah. But like you were saying, I think everybody on here, there's 234 people, you're all family. I say that all the time in
Yeah.
my shorts. Like, it's all you guys, you're all my family. I don't have just, a small family. I have
Right.
hundreds of friends and family now.
Yeah. And that's nice. Like doing these live streams, I think is important. Like it was important for me because you don't really see, at least I haven't met somebody just spontaneously who's doing carnivore. So it's kind of feels alone, like sometimes, or originally I felt that way. I was also very shy, so I think that played a part in it. But I think having a community like this is so helpful. And so I guess for people who are considering it, who are maybe watching and just not fully sure, just because they might feel isolated, I just want to encourage you to start commenting, getting to know people, because it will become your family. They will become your family.
Right.
You have
Yes.
someone to talk back and forth with.
Hmm.
It made a difference for me. It really did.
Well, I said, Anna, you're my inspiration. Just the way you are, the way your attitude, the way you're
Yeah.
raising your family, your kid to eat the proper way, and how much you're glowing now. So it's yeah, you've been an inspiration to me. It just took me a little bit longer to get on the train, so to speak.
Thank you. Yeah. And I think you're doing great. You inspire me to keep going. I think, you know, I might be farther, but I think it's good on those tough days to have like a really close friend who is also doing it. Like it's along that same lines where you just it's nice to have somebody else doing it with you. It gives you more power and more encouragement to keep going. I think
Exactly.
that's like a big difference for me is like I would kind of do things beforehand with some of my closest friends about working out and trying to do that, but some of them never stuck to it. So then I'm doing it by myself, and I would fall off the wagon a lot more easily on previous
Right.
diets.
Mhm.
There's a lot of reasons why I don't go back and forth now like I used to. Like there's a lot of reasons, but yeah, no, it's nice to have other people to look up to. It's contagious, like the energy, the confidence. It's contagious from people, and you're going through the changes. You made it past 60 days, so congratulations. I think that's a huge milestone. So yeah, I think just having that support is so helpful.
It's huge. Yeah, especially with Carrie, he was
Oh yeah.
people said in the previous videos, "Oh, you pushed your wife, or you made your wife, oh, you're so terrible." No, he never pushed me. He just like nudged me, like you'll be healthier, you'll be happier, and you'll see a difference. And I sure did. So it's like all those haters out there. No, he didn't. I'm very thankful that he nudged me and the family to go in this direction. And it's sad that we were just talking about family. Like for Easter, for example, it was a while ago, but I always ate a lot of vegetables. That's all I would eat. And people were saying, well, just have a little bite or a little spoonful is not going to hurt you. I'm like, yeah, it actually is going to hurt me. So it's
Mhm.
like, no, thank you. And I saw my father-in-law and he was offering me candy. He's like, you can have this. It doesn't have any chocolate in it. I'm like, oh my I'm like, yeah, I can have it because it doesn't have chocolate, but it has all the sugar and everything else in it that I'm trying to kick out of my body.
Right.
It's like some people just don't understand. It's not the point that they don't care. It's they really don't get it.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And I
So
think people, like you said, they think you're like a crazy person and they have all these ideas. One of my family members was like, well, what about your cholesterol? I was like, my cholesterol is fine. Like, don't worry about it. Like I'm just going to do me. Like, if you don't agree with it, like, cause this has come up a couple times. If you don't agree with it, that's totally fine. And you live your way of life, but I'm going to keep doing this and I'm sticking to it because that's ultimately the best thing for me. And everybody has to decide what's best for them. Um, and you can just agree to disagree at that point. Um, I have another question. Were there any benefits or changes that you noticed the first time you went carnivore? I'm just curious because I know you weren't on it for very long at the beginning, and I just want you to kind of speak on that and your experience.
no, that's good. So yeah, I did. For those of you that don't know, I did try carnivore. I actually tried for 2 weeks, but from going from a complete vegetarian to complete carnivore, it was very difficult for me, my mindset, and my body. So, still 60 days in, I'm still having some meat aversion. I'm kind of getting sick of eggs already, so I'm trying to think of different ways to make eggs. But I mean, the first time I tried it, I just jumped on cold turkey. I'm just like, okay, no more vegetables, no more salads, no more seed oils, no nothing. I just jumped on and I'm like, oh, this is so good. Yeah. And then it kind of got to the point where I went 2 weeks, but I say I only went a week because I ate a week of meat, but I would eat one meal a day, like a couple bites here, a couple bites there. And then on the second week, when Carrie would make food, it would make me very nauseous, where I literally had to leave the room or leave the house because I couldn't even take the smell of it. So I pretty much starved myself for that second week. And I got so weak that I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So I just went back to the standard American diet, eating vegetables, and I felt like crap. And it took me over a year to jump on the train, so to speak. And sure, I missed my vegetables and stuff, but my legs were so inflamed when I was eating the vegetables that the doctor said was so healthy for you. I believe it was slowly killing me. So definitely a big change from the first time to the second time. I think you just have to take baby steps on doing it, no matter where you're coming from. If you're a vegetarian, if you're a vegan, just baby steps. Like I say, like somebody said in the comments before, um, it's not carnivore diet. It is, but the way to say it is a proper human diet because that's really what it is. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah. And then I have kind of like a follow-up question for you on that. What suggestions would you give to vegetarians who are interested in doing carnivore?
That's a good one. Like I said, slowly ease into it. Like I know a vegetarian, it's hard. I guess my whole life is I always thought of I don't want to kill an animal. Like long story short, my mom, she's so weird. She's like, I'll show her like around here. I live in the country. She lives in the city. She's like looking at these cows, and I'm like, yeah, you know what they're gonna do with them, right? And she's like, oh no, yeah, no, I don't think about that. If if you kill and shoot me one right here, I won't eat it. But if it's in the store, I'll eat it. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, mom. Like, so kind of thinking that way as a vegetarian, it's like you know it's already there. You know it's good for you. You know it's hard, but baby steps. Like for me, when I did it the first time, all Carrie was eating was steak, and that's what I tried. And my body just it can't digest and it can't handle steak yet, so it's just baby steps. So I have beef, butter, eggs, and not bacon yet. I'm still kind of. Emma made me a cake. It was my birthday last week, so she made me a quiche cake, and she threw some bacon in there. But I still kind of picked around the bacon, but the flavor was still there, and I know there was still stuff in there, but it's just going to take me a little while. So for the vegetarians that want to do this, I just say baby steps. Like start integrating things with it, like more butter, and try to add some beef. You know, something that's not going to make you nauseous. I guess. Like I said, steak for me I still can't really do it. It's just find the texture that you like. Like somebody again in the comments said something, asked me what the recipe was for our beef stew. So I'll eat that. That's great. And then Carrie will drink. He did a short on it. He drinks coffee, so it's basically the beef stew liquid in there. So that's his coffee. Basically, all it is beef stew from the store, and he fills it with water, so it's just touching the top of the beef, and then some salt, lets it cook, you know, on a slow cooker for like 8 hours or whatever you want to do. And then he'll throw a whole thing of butter in it, the Kerry Gold butter on it. And I swear it is so good. That's it. That's the recipe. It's just water, salt, and butter. So, and it's delicious. It's like my go-to meal. Like if I'm hungry or something, I'll just go in the fridge, pull it out, and warm it up a little bit. And so I don't know. I guess long story short, for vegetarians, it's just finding what you can stomach. I mean, just slowly integrate meat into it. Find what you like, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, absolutely. We kind of had that question on Nia's live stream yesterday about that. They said that they were nauseous and just not loving meat. And that's kind of what we discussed is like taking it slower, trying different meats, you know, being open to different
Yep.
things, adding eggs, all that sort of stuff. Or, yeah, just trying different things, trying different cuts of meat, I think is the really biggest thing. For a little bit, I was more like, I tried more things. I liked more variety, and I even ate like shrimp and stuff.
No?
I know like seafood can be kind of finicky for a lot of people, and so, but I just encourage like if you're interested in trying something, go try it because that's really going to help, and you'll probably find your favorite thing at some point of what you like to eat. I
Right.
was actually it made me think of you. We've had these beef cheeks in our freezer for a little bit, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna try just slow cooking them with some butter, like you did. Because last time I slow cooked like a roast, it was just like I put water at the bottom to help
Mm-hmm.
keep it moist. And now I think I'm just gonna try with butter because it sounds way better.
Yeah, you get your fat in it with
Right.
it, and it's a little bit tastier. I think
Mhm.
it like soaks into it, I think, too. So it makes it a little bit less chewy, I think. What's in my head at least.
Right.
So like
And
what is like a go-to for you? What do I would like a lot of people are asking for like recipes, like what are go-tos? Like I said, I'm only 60 days in, and I was eating eggs today, and I just I don't know. I know it's in my head and I gotta get over it, but it was just like I don't want these, and I just kind of forced myself to eat it. So what are some good go-to things? What are things that you like to eat that maybe me and other people would like to try?
That's a great question. So we do primarily eat steak in our house. But that's not the only thing. But because I'm more eating like it depends on the day, but like I try to eat one meal a day. But if I'm hungry, I'll eat two. And so a lot of times we have steak every day and then we'll have bacon and eggs. Like if we have a second meal, that's typically our go-to. But I have made some other things in the past that I really love. One of the biggest things I used to love pre-carnivore was pizza. It was like one of my favorite things. So now we
Mhm.
make pizza pockets, which
Okay.
they don't have a crust. It's just mozzarella cheese slice and then whatever toppings you want in the middle.
Mm.
Um, Meat toppings, and
Mm.
then we put the cheese on the top. We don't put
Oh,
any sauce, and then you just cook it in the oven, and it's so delicious. It
oh, jeez.
and like on occasion, I'll have moments where like I have that craving, and then I'll have that, and then it's like, well, I'm good now for a while.
Wow. Yeah.
And
Is
then
there,
oh, go ahead.
I was just say, is just a specific kind of cheese that you like?
We
I,
do
I might try that today.
yeah, we do mozzarella, but we have done pepper jack. Like, but I think you have to be careful with that. Like, I didn't think about it the first time we had it, because of the peppers in there. And so that was like, oh no, like I don't think we could do that
Right.
anymore. So you
Right.
just have to be careful, like watch your ingredients. Um, but yeah, I think mozzarella is like, that's what I loved on pizza before. So I typically
Mm.
stick to that.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, aside from that, I mean, sometimes we'll do taco bowls, where you have like the meat in a dish and then you can put cheese and then I do sour cream and like that, like if I wanted Mexican food, that's like my thing.
Making me hungry now.
I know,
Mm.
I don't have any yet today. So, well, I did have some bacon, so I didn't completely tell the truth there, but I just had some bacon before the live, but I'm still really hungry. I'm getting there.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Normally I don't eat till now, but I had some
yeah.
eggs prior to this, so I ate a little bit. But yeah. Oh, I gotta say it. Hey, Bill, I see you in the chat here.
Hi.
Loved your last video. I cannot wait to see you on that four-wheeler. I was crying the last couple times I watched your videos, and
Yeah.
Daisy's amazing, and that other cat that's there, little alley cat. Did you make a name for him yet? Anyways, yeah, you have any other questions? Or I'm trying to watch. Carrie normally does the sidebar for me, where we see all the questions and all that. So if we're late on any of them, you want to ask Anna, you want to ask me, or anybody in there, just put a Q Q Q. I do see a few new members in here. Thank you for that so much. Really appreciate that. Um, kind of seeing if you see any questions or anything too,
Yeah.
Anna, please throw it out there. I
Yeah,
know somebody
maybe.
asked for the stew meat. I did that, so that's good. Somebody was talking about the corn flakes. Oh my gosh, 36 carbs, while Frosted Flakes has 33. So yeah, we were talking about the cereal out there that they tell you it's so good because it's got grains in it. Well, no, the grains are actually bad for you too. So
I did find a question, but I'm looking back just to make sure there's no other ones. Maybe we'll go through some comments too here quick.
yeah, perfect.
Um, somebody said, oh, it won't let me touch it, but somebody said I had never heard it called Ant Flo. Too funny.
Oh, I think Carrie and I were talking about it, and I didn't want to say, period or menstrual
Yes.
period. So he's
Yeah.
just like, well, what about Aunt Flo? Or somebody said that. I'm like, oh, perfect. So yeah, that's funny.
So the comment that I see that is a question is from Sound Mind, and it says, "Has anyone suffered from internal hemorrhoids due to
Oh,
frequent diarrhea? I'm only a week into carnivore." Um,
I'm not taking
I
care
mean, I had hemorrhoids before, so they've kind of always been there, but it never got really worse once I started carnivore. But your bowels take time to kind of adjust to carnivore diet, and so what I recommend is staying consistent. So don't jump off because once you go back on, you're gonna kind of re-experience it. And so I would stay consistent and then play around with how much fat you're getting in your diet because you can know too if you're going too far the other way, it'll be harder to poop. And so I do just recommend sticking with it a little bit longer and then trying to adjust your fat. I don't know if you have anything else on that one.
No, that was what I was gonna say too, is the fat intake. I know when I started, I was kind of bound up from all the crap that I had in my body. Um, so yeah, that definitely takes a toll on you. Uh, I would maybe say, I don't know how people are on fasting, but maybe try.
Mhm.
I say because when you fast is when all that crap comes out of you, so to speak. So I don't know, with the hemorrhoid that would might be bad, but maybe it will help loosen some stuff up in your body. I don't know. Anybody else have anything on that? Leave it in the
Yeah,
comments. I'm trying to go back to the comments to
me
bring it
too.
up, but
It's okay.
because really, there's a
No,
lot of
no,
comments on here, guys. Thank you.
it is. Let me see if I. Okay, yeah, I can't quite do that. I'm still getting used to doing this too. So,
Yeah, like I said, Carrie normally does this for me, so I
right,
apologize.
right, me too.
My
And
goodness.
Roxy said, I have had a migraine since I was very young, and since starting carnivore, I haven't had one. I'll never go back to the way I was eating. Mood is 10 times better. 100% agree with that.
Exactly. Yep.
We're glad you're feeling better because, I mean, that's really the goal of carnivore. I think I started for weight loss, but then I started noticing how much better I was feeling, how much better I was acting, and it's so much more than just weight loss.
Right.
That's what you're going into it for.
Exactly. Like I was saying, I just have so much energy. I wouldn't be on here talking to any of you. I wouldn't even been anywhere.
Yeah.
Um, I'd be so far behind with everything.
Yeah.
Like these comments I'm still reading through. So if you guys see me looking to the side, it's what
No, me too. I do notice there's been 2 or 3 comments that say, like, I wish I would have known about this, then. And I do agree. Like, I think we all wish we would have known about it a little bit sooner. I don't beat yourself too much though, because I think, you know, for me, like, I don't want to live in that old place necessarily as well. Cause that was a dark place, but you can only do so much with what you know.
Mhm.
Knowledge is power. JT's told me many times. And
Yeah.
you have a higher awareness of what's going on now that you're in carnivore. I think unfortunately it's not even really your fault. Sugar's addictive.
Right.
Our society promotes it, our doctors promote it, and so and a lot of us were raised a certain way to eat certain foods. And so I don't feel like it's even your fault. And I feel like with some of these comments, you're kind of internalizing some of that. But you like internalizing that you didn't know about it sooner. I think, we have to do with what best we know at the time.
Right.
And there's a little part that, is probably sad. Like I wish I would have known way sooner. I could have felt so much better. I could have been healthier. I could have probably excelled in sports that I was in. I was, like there's all these things, but just try to move forward, try to do the best you
Mhm.
can. Because, we're a new person. I don't think that many people realize sometimes that, oh, I'm just going to lose the weight. No, like we kind of talked about before, it's so much more than that.
Exactly.
And so you just change as a person. I don't really know how to describe it. It's more something you have to experience along the way too.
Right. Well, I did a short on that, and I've always been, I really can't say the word. I've been not a bad cookie, but a tough girl, I guess. And a lot of things never really bothered me except for my kids. Like if you
Yeah.
say something or do something to my kids, you don't want to mess with this mama bear. I've always been like that. I like heavy metal music and a lot of things don't bother me. But Carrie caught me off guard a couple weeks ago when we were rummaging and I just saw a park and I totally, it was true
Yeah.
emotions. I completely lost it. And I let him film me just so people could see that was true because my girls they'll be 17. My triplets will be 17. Lily will be, she's 19. And it's like, I did a lot with them because my family was never here for us. It was just Carrie and I, and Carrie worked, 50, 60 hours a week. So it was just me with 4 kids. And I did what I could with them, but I was always overweight. I was on the standard American diet. I didn't know any better. Like Anna just said, I wish somebody told me sooner because although I did a lot with them, I could have done a hell of a lot more with them. And it just, when I saw the park, that was true emotion.
Yeah.
I completely lost it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's just one thing. And like you said, I wish somebody would have told me sooner. So that's kind of the point of the Healing Humanity documentary and for our live streams and everything that everybody's doing because the word needs to get out there. We need more doctors like Dr. Hampton and Dr. Chafee and all those great doctors that are helping people. So yeah, it's just the word. So that was my 2 cents on that one. So I wish somebody did tell me sooner. I wish I would have started sooner, but now is never too late.
Right.
So you got to look forward.
Yeah. And I think like a lot of it's kind of therapeutic because I wonder if when we were in that before carnivore, like I just wonder if like part of your brain I think probably part of your brain gets impaired, like ability to process everything. And now that we're kind of going through it after the fact, I think you're able to process a lot more and actually feel those things or grieve those parts, and then you feel better. Like I feel like a lot of things get stored. And for me, like, and you kind of talked about this too before the stream or during the stream, like I used to use food as like a therapy method almost. Like
Yes.
I would eat to kind of console myself, and that's not there anymore. So you almost have to kind of confront that. And I just feel like it is so therapeutic. I've processed so many things, and I think it's helped me be in a more positive space. And I've heard other people too say like their mental health has improved dramatically.
Oh yeah.
And so like if you're in a bad place, like I would recommend this. I know a lot of people get put on medications and everything, but that's not necessarily needed. So there's so much about carnivore that's great, and so many things that it helps with.
Exactly. Yep. Sorry, I'm just going back in the comments really quick again.
Somebody said cholesterol is not a disease. I can't find it again, but I agree with that. And I've had that comment kind of thrown at me that my doctor's like, you'll even need to be on a statin. Like I was like, you don't even know if my cholesterol is all wonky to begin with. And like, even still, like there's studies coming out saying more cholesterol is good and everything. So, there is a question.
Okay.
It says, Jeff Burke, curious on how to keep breast milk production when beginning carnivore. I'm 5 days in. Thank you for all that you do. You know what?
There you go.
I unfortunately don't know. Do you have any things that you can think of? I
I'm
haven't.
so far past that.
No.
Unfortunately, I don't know. I hope somebody will help you with that, because I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I just know it's the best thing that you'd be doing for your baby.
Right.
I know your body knows your body, so I know meat has everything that you need in it for like vitamins and minerals and all that stuff. So I think your body would know best.
Yeah.
On that, I'm so far down away from that.
Yeah. I feel like, I honestly, I wish I would have, but like, I didn't breastfeed William very long. I ended up switching to formula, and I think it's because it hurt, to be honest. I think for a lot of ladies, it hurts in the beginning. I looked in his mouth once he started going to the dentist, and he has like a little bit of a tie. I forget where it is in his mouth. So like, that's one thing. So I don't have as much experience with this, but one thing, like when I was in the hospital and they were kind of walking me through how to start producing milk, was pumping. So I don't know, and that's not necessarily carnivore related. And I don't know if maybe one of the doctors would have an answer too, but maybe trying to pump, regularly, that might help. I really don't know. I'm sorry. I wish I had.
No, JT said Dr. Kiltz would know. That's definitely, he's the one that I would ask for sure. Yeah. Very good.
And there's a question couple up that I was going to look at next. It's by Michelle McDermott. She said, I'm day 47, feeling really tired for some reason. So one thing I would look at is how much fat you're getting. I feel like early on in carnivore, I don't think I was honestly getting enough fat. So I don't know if you're getting enough fat in your diet. I feel, and I don't know truly, but I feel like I was oxalate dumping at one point, like a couple months ago, and I did feel drained. So I don't know if it's like related to that. And oxalate dumping is at least temporary at the time. So like it'll only last for a little bit, but that might be another reason. And I did feel really off at that time. I don't know if you have anything else too.
There was one that I was looking on here. So somebody asked, is cottage cheese okay? What are your thoughts?
I mean, cheese kind of stalled me out, so I don't always have cheese. I would say, don't overdo cheese or cottage cheese, because there is carbs in it. It's a small amount. It's a real small amount. But it can stall you. And so I just say kind of balance it. Like I would be really meat heavy if you're going to eat something like that. Like have the main part be the meat, or eat the meat first and then have that, just because it'll help. But I know cheese, like I know you're eating cheese and it's really, and sometimes I still have cheese. Um, but I know that helps you too. And that's actually probably a good tip for some people starting out, is you can have some cheese incorporated into your diet and it'd be okay. For the longest time, I lost weight with cheese. And then suddenly I was like, oh, I'm not moving. So I gotta try
Okay.
adjusting something.
I think that might be my problem is I eat a lot of cheese. Yeah, like I try to eat one meal a day. So, but if I get hungry during the afternoon, I'll take some cottage cheese and just eat a little bit, and that will fill me up. But Carrie always tells me that too. He's like, you should eat it as a condiment, not a meal. And that's my problem. Is I eat a lot of cheese. I was kind of wondering what you would say. So I really, like I said, I really haven't lost too much. I think I lost, and I don't weigh myself because I'm afraid I'm going to get upset. So I don't really weigh myself. I think it's only been 60 some days. So I mean, I think I lost like 20, 25 pounds, which
Yeah,
that's
that's
great,
great.
but I'm not consistently checking. And I know I haven't measured myself. A lot of people ask, well, what did you lose? What are your measurements? I don't want to make myself upset because I know I'm doing it slower than other people, but you are you and you're always going to do something different. So I was, like I said, I'm doing baby steps. I'm not really eating too much. I'm not eating a lot of fat. So I'm like kind of working my way towards that. But like my shirt, like I said, I think it's a large, and I started like with a 2X, 3X. So I mean, it's only been a short amount of time. So I can only imagine what it's going to be after a year or something. So yeah, a
Absolutely.
lot of
And
people say that. So, but I think cheese is definitely stalling me. But I can't have a burger without cheese. It's
yeah,
just it's my mindset. Carrie tells me, and I know it is. But if it's the only way I'm going to eat it, I'm sorry, I'm going to have cheese with it.
yeah, it's better than like not like and if that helps you be on carnivore, I say start it. And so if anybody's kind of wondering, well, should I keep this in? Like if it helps you stay, I would do it until you feel comfortable toning it back. Um, like Jen said, everybody's a little bit different and you
Yeah.
have to do what's best for you at that time. Um, I say I'm reading another question. It's kind of funny. Oh, here, you can go first with that one. And then I have one.
Somebody actually said, I actually got constipated this week. What do I do? So my thing with constipation is you got to eat more fat. So that might be butter or, really fatty beef, like Carrie always tells me. But you got to like kind of watch what you eat, because my understanding is if you eat too much fat, you will be just the opposite. You will have really bad diarrhea. But if you have too little fat, you will be constipated. That's my understanding.
Yeah,
You
I agree. I think the simplest thing to do is just adjust your fat, like Jen said. I think that helps. And then, if you like go the opposite direction, like you kind of have to tone it back and readjust some things. I know somebody said you can use dairy to help with diarrhea if you end up having the opposite thing. So, there's ways to alter it in your diet so that you find a normal rhythm. And I
right.
think something I wish I would have done is just, especially in the beginning, just tracking what I was eating. I hate tracking, but like maybe until your bowels get normal, it
Yep.
might be a good option for you.
That's very good. Right. Very good. Yeah, you said you had a question, and there's another one on here.
So there's one by, I don't know how to say, Pa Beater. It's QQQ at home said how, here's a good one. Corn Flakes has 36 carbs in a serving. Frosted Flakes has 33. What the heck? They said. It's
Right.
cereal is like,
There we go.
it's astounding to me, like how much sugar is in it. And they recommend it for kids.
Right.
They advertise it to kids, and then you're getting hooked from a young age on sugar. I know I was that way as a kid. Like I had all the breakfast cereals and everything. And even technically before carnivore and things, like I love certain cereals. And then now I'm like, I don't think I'll ever touch another cereal box, to be honest. So
Right. I like this comment. Thank you.
Yeah, there's been a few people saying that, and we really appreciate it. And you do look amazing, Jen. You really do. You're doing great.
Aw, thank you. Like I said, you're my inspiration, lady. You just glowing and beautiful, and I get to actually spend, I don't know about the day, but I get to spend time with you next week, and I'm so looking forward to that.
I'm excited. I've been needing to go rummaging and getting more clothes. Like I don't know, maybe I just need to make an apron. Sorry, this is a side thing, but like make an apron because I always get like stains on myself from cooking. And it's just that's the one thing that I'm like, right now I need to work on that. I gotta just get my sewing project in.
So I'm going
It's
probably
okay.
way far back, but I'm
It's okay.
used to Carrie doing all these. So I'm just trying to find some questions in here. So this is another thing about backup coming out contains oxalate. So yeah. So does anyone else here know the video I'm talking about? I'm not sure if you're talking about like Carrie's or JT and Anna's video or maybe a doctor. I'm not really sure
Yeah,
which
I'm not sure
video.
either.
I think with Carrie I think Bill Knott talked about oxalate
Yeah,
dumping.
I think so too.
So check him out.
Yeah, and I mean, I've heard that briefly from what I know about oxalates, is that they do get excreted through your bowel movements. So I think that, the more that you work on the carnivore, the less that you'll have of that. But yeah, I would check out like a doctor or check out Bill's videos to see his
Mhm.
experience with it and everything.
Okay. So here's another one. Papa Carnivore, drinking strong black tea can help relieve the pain from oxalate dumping. That's great to know because a lot of people
Yeah.
are going through that. That would be really good to know. Black tea. Just watched a great video where Sally K. Norton was interviewed by Dr. Wiedemann. If I said that right. And Lisa's channel is Carnivore Doctor. So thank you for sharing. You guys should check that out.
I
Yeah,
see another one. Dana, it says, is using Redmond organic sea salts and pork rinds okay to use for the carnivore eating? Yes, I would say yes. Both of those are carnivore foods. The salt's just fine. I used to eat pork rinds all the time. I've kind of tapered it off actually, and then I love Redmond salt. So
yeah,
go for it.
Yeah. And I'm just going to throw it out there because I always do when Carrie's here, but to help the documentary, if anybody wants to help the documentary and you just don't want to give funds or anything, I don't think he has one on his desk, but we do actually sell, his desk. If you guys could see his desk, you thought I was messy. We sell the Redmond salt. It's like a little salt shaker, and then it comes in a little container, like a keychain container. So if you ever want to help out with the documentary and you just don't know how, and you don't have the funds to leave something in GoFundMe, we do sell those, and I wish I had them on the table, but those are really cool. Like if you go out to eat anywhere, you just take it with you and you can always refill it too. It's just the Redmond salt, and I always just get the refillable Redmond salt. It has like a little funnel on the top so you can pour it right in. So sorry, I always have to help carry out with that.
No, I love those. We have one on our keychain too, and we've used it quite a few times out, and like if we decide to go out one day or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
It's nice to have.
That always helps. So let's see. Trying to go. I'm really far behind.
I know, me too.
But if you see any that I'm missing, because like I said, Carrie normally does this. So, yeah. So they said, I doubt my wife would ever approve it, but could a 5-year-old girl start carnivore? If so, any tips for a great breakfast for her? Anna?
Yeah, I mean, I think absolutely it's really good for kids. I do feel truly it's healthier, and what's great is they're going to start out on it at a young age, and that's kind of what they learn. And so as far as tips for breakfast, our William loves bacon. Like that's his go-to. And we sometimes just make a pack, put it in the fridge, and he now knows how to open the fridge, so he'll just go in, grab a piece of bacon, and leave with the bacon. So
That's awesome.
I do recommend that, and eggs, and pretty much like just you doing it. So if you do it, then they're going to model more off of that and be more interested in those foods.
Right. So people were talking about now I just forget what they're called. The fish. The sardines. Oh boy. I try not to think about that. I've never liked fish, so a lot of people are saying sardines are good to put in stuff. If you cut them up really small and people won't even know, don't do that to me.
Right. Yeah, I don't know that I could do a sardine that adventurous yet. I do see another question. Aaron Gunnett says, "What do you all think about our government attacking local farmers in the WHO, Bill Gates, and our government pushing fake meat?" I do think that the government is pushing a lot of things that are just anti what we know. So I mean, I really don't like it, and honestly, that stuff makes me mad. Now that I'm on the other side of things, I don't like. I wish that our society was different and that they actually were looking out for the betterment of everybody.
Right.
Um, it's frustrating because once you know how much damage that you're doing to your body and how it's affecting all other people, it does make me mad. And I'm sorry, fake meat's not meat, it's plants. So, it's just harmful. It's honestly frustrating.
It's not even good for people, but it's not
Right.
even good for the environment. I know Carrie did a video or a short on that where he really got fired up on it, where I think it was Bill Gates, where he was saying, oh, it's unnatural and it's not healthy for cows to graze and poop everywhere. And I'm like, even as a vegetarian prior, when I was a vegetarian, I'm like, yeah, it is. I'm like, that's what God gave us. That's what is natural. And they're eating grass. They're not eating some processed things that you're giving them. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I'm just, again, like you said, being on the other side, I'm more fired up on this because I will admit, again, my name's Jen. I'm a sugar addict. But I did eat those Impossible Burgers because I didn't like meat and I didn't per se like the taste of meat, but I thought it was good for me. I'm like, oh, it's an Impossible Burger. It's got to be good for you. No, it's not from all the chemicals and all the crap. And you think where all that came from, it's all processed. So, how
Right.
can you say that something that's natural that God gave us that grazes the earth versus, the big factories and all that are having all the smokestacks and all that come out, and then the forklifts and all the stuff and the transportation and the packaging? I'm like, how can you think that's any better than store bought or farm bought or grazing cows? I don't know. Like I said, I'm one of them that ate that before. I'm sorry, but I did, and I thought it was good, better for me than
Mhm.
sugar or something, but it's really not. So
Yeah. And again, like you raised your awareness, like more now and you're doing the best that you can for yourself. Like I think there's so much pushed on us from a young age and then you kind of internalized it and it's just how your brain thinks that you should eat. But now that we're in this spot, I think it's really shows all of the issues we have at a higher level. Like it's not something any one person can solve. We have
right.
to change as a group. And so
Yeah.
that's why I also want to say go donate, support the Healing Humanity documentary because that's a big thing that's going to help a lot of people. And
Yeah.
I'm hoping it keeps the movement going. I had heard that carnivore is now more searched than keto. So I mean, we're making waves. We just got to keep going.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. We're all going to get there. It's just sad that the bigger, higher up people that have billions and billions of dollars are the idiots saying this so that they can make more money. It's like, how greedy and stupid are you that you're going to leave kids being overweight, obese, have diabetes, dying of cancer? I mean, like the rate of diabetes and cancer in young kids is just skyrocketing, and the age of people dying now, I think it's like 78 or something. So it's like you work your whole life until you're what, 60, 65, and then you retire, and then you, if
Yeah,
you're lucky, you get 10 years to live. And it's like, what's the point? It's like,
right.
no, it's like Maggie is thriving. I think she's 82, 83, and
He looks
I see
great.
that in the documentary, but being the wife of the documentor, I get to watch all that. So
Right. That's
it's absolutely amazing how she's thriving, and it's just sad that I'm looking at feet. You want to come in, Carrie? Oh, come say hi. I'm looking at his feet. Come say hi really quick.
Well, he's coming. I do have one thing quick I want to add.
Yeah.
So the that lady had asked about for her 5-year-old daughter, JT bothered me that I have to mention something else that William really likes. It's this people probably gonna look at me sideways. We make this bread that's all carnivore. So it's from Christy from Meeting Wellness did it. And it's
Okay.
got like eggs. It does have cottage cheese, and I
Mm.
forget pork rinds it has. So it's a completely carnivore bread that you can make, and then you just like for me, I just fry it in the pan with some butter, and then you got your carnivore French toast. So that's another
Nice.
option. Sorry, come
Oh.
in, Carrie. Come say hi. If
He
you
left. He was just
oh
kind of
no.
giving me the
Oh, okay.
I think he's got a meeting or something coming up. I'm actually in his room right now, so
Okay.
but yeah, so thank you. I have to just say thank you everybody for coming. I see
No, thank you.
243 people on here. I love this. Anna, if you're up for it again, I would love to do another
Absolutely.
live stream with you. And like I said, I'm looking forward to hanging out with you next week. Maybe we'll do like a short or something together. I don't know, but I'm really
Yeah,
excited for that. So
me
again,
too.
thank you everybody for coming. I had so many questions, but I think I'm more comfortable now. So maybe,
Yeah,
you
me
will do
too.
your own and I'll do my own. We'll get together. And I think this has been great. So thank you
Yeah,
everybody for coming. Sorry if I got to get better at reading the comments on the side. Like
me
I said,
too.
Gary normally does it, but I'm trying to read it as they go by, but I'll definitely get better next time. But yeah, I had a fun time. Thank you
Me
for
too.
doing this with me. And
Absolutely. Thank you too. Like I feel
we'll
so much
do
more
it again.
comfortable too. So
Good. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming. I appreciate all of you. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. And next time when we do this, I'll get better. Maybe I'll have
me
Gary
too.
comment, sit next to me and do all the comments.
That'll be us 2.0, you know?
Right. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming. I hope you all
Yes,
have a
thank you.
lovely day. And if you can not push, but kind of steer somebody in the carnivore way, bless you for doing that and
Mhm.
spreading the word. And like I said before, and for the documentary, if you want to support in any way, you can leave funds, do comments. Carrie and the girls are going to the meetup in Texas, so you can meet them there if you all are going. But yeah. All right. Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate every one of you. And
Thank you
thank you,
so
Anna,
much,
for
guys.
doing this. I appreciate it. But everybody have a wonderful day.
Yeah.
Gotta do Carrie's thing. Okay. Bye. Beep.
Bye.